Religion is back on the agenda. Well, it's certainly back on the agenda internationally, when some of us thought that perhaps religion was sliding off the scene of this world. It's back on the agenda internationally with our awareness of the political power of both Christianity and Islam. At the more personal level, this new awareness shows itself in spirituality. For many people, institutional religion is not the thing as much as is a search for spiritual awareness and a source of values. In this context, how do we who might name ourselves as progressive Christians shape relevant personal spiritual lives and a vibrant form of Christianity? At the heart of that issue, as I see it, is the question of beliefs. Both our readings today speak about believing. They are the readings set down in the lectionary for today as Bible Sunday. And they could well open up an interesting conversation around the nature of ancient texts and the relationship between words written and enshrined and words spoken now from a pulpit or elsewhere. But the piece I want to focus on is that sense, that word, that idea about believing. Believe, it says. Because core beliefs are often seen as the defining mark of a religion. I am a Christian because I believe this about God in Christ, about humanity. And beliefs are also the cause of many of the conflicts between religions. I believe this, you believe that. But also, if we focus away from religion to spirituality, we can become aware that beliefs easily get in the way of a more open spiritual outlook as well. They're not confined to closing down or defining what religion is. For both religion and spirituality, the force of what you believe, I think, has to be confronted and thought through. It was in 4th century Christianity, under the pressure of the Roman Empire, that set beliefs, understood as doctrine or true teaching, became a mark of a genuine adherent of the Christian religion. It's prefigured, of course, in that passage from Paul's letter to Timothy. But we read back the solidity of the statements about doctrine or teaching there from the understanding that developed some considerable time later. Because the earlier layer didn't see that firm structure of doctrine as that important. I'm sure Jesus didn't see it like that. He'd be horrified to think that we had to believe that he was the Son of the Father of the Trinitarian God. There's no evidence that Jesus thought that way. I want to suggest then that such beliefs are not what Christianity is about, as either a religion or as a source of spirituality. Part of our problem here is language, as it often is. The word believe, of course, has come to mean ideas you agree with, an intellectual assent. That's pretty recent. And it certainly doesn't reflect earlier usage of the idea behind believe. What's more, English is a difficulty, because English doesn't have a verb for the more open concept of faithing rather than believing. English doesn't speak about us being faithers, it speaks of us being believers. And believing and believers suggest adherence to defined ideas presented as truth. In the first verse of the reading from Timothy and the last verses from John, the word translated from the Greek as believe in most of our translations has the Greek root that elsewhere is translated as faith. And it would in fact be more accurate to speak about faithing and becoming faithers, and faith rather than belief. For it's faith that's central to the earliest Jesus followers. And faith in that sense is more akin in our thinking today to spirituality than it is to religion. It's more like that sense of that which bubbles up in a sense of the presence of the Spirit within us and around us, than to the structures and frameworks and doctrines of a religious system. And I would want to argue that that sense of faith is helpfully the mark of being Christian today rather than a set of beliefs. But still, faith and its contemporary expression of spirituality are tricky things to try and unpack and to seek to understand.